Us now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Prime Minister, why do you think President Obama and John Kerry would want an agreement that, as you say, threatens the survival of Israel and paves the path to a bomb?
Well, I'm sure they think it's a good deal, but we differ. I think this is a bad deal. It leaves Iran with a vast nuclear infrastructure. It lifts the sanctions on them fairly quickly and enables them to get billions of dollars into their coffers. They're not going to use it for schools or hospital or roads, Martha. They're going to use it to pump up their terror machine worldwide and their military machine that is busy conquering the Middle East now. Third, it's a temporary deal. That is, whatever restrictions are placed on Iran's nuclear program, they're removed after a few years, and Iran will be free to have a vast arsenal with which to ultimately produce many nuclear bombs. I think for the preeminent terrorist state of our time, to have a free path, an easy path to nuclear weapons endangers Israel, endangers the region, endangers the world, endangers everyone listening to me right now.
Do you think President Obama is just too trusting? I mean, it's a legitimate question. Why in the world would they do this if they thought the survival of Israel was at stake?
Look, I think we have a legitimate difference of view, and I think that it's not only my own concerns. I think that the real concerns in the region, whatever is stated publicly, is such that if Iran is given this free path to the bomb, a deal that doesn't block Iran's path to nuclear weapons but actually paves it, what will happen is that this will spark a nuclear arms race among the Sunni countries in the Middle East, and that would have a nuclear-armed Middle East. I think that's a global danger. I think it's very, very bad.
What will you do to try to stop this? What will you do for the next 3 months?
Well, first of all, I think there's still time to reach a good deal, a better deal. And I think what is required is to hold firm, to increase the pressures until a better deal is achieved, one that significantly rolls back Iran's nuclear infrastructure, and one that doesn't lift the restrictions on Iran's nuclear program until they stop their aggression in the region.
Well, that hasn't really been decided yet, has it? The U.S. says it will be phased in. That hasn't even really been decided.
Well, it's not even been on the table, nor have ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, that they can use to propel their nuclear weapons to any part of the world, including the United States. Nothing has been asked of Iran to change its aggressive and terrorist policies, nothing. And I think it's important to change the deal, to toughen up the deal, to get a better deal, because we all prefer a diplomatic solution.
How can you get a deal that Iran would accept? The U.S. and others have been dealing for years, and you've got other players involved in this now. How can you get a deal that they would accept?
Martha, I think that what they don't accept today, they can accept tomorrow. If I told you 2 years ago that Syria's Bashar Assad would accept a deal that takes out all the chemicals from Syria, that takes out all the chemical weapons from Syria, just takes it out, not leave inspectors or beefed up inspectors to inspect what is there, but actually take out the whole stuff, you would have said that's unrealistic. And you know what?
So would you
2 years ago, it was unrealistic.
Prime Minister, would you
But here's what happened, Martha.
Would you consider unilateral airstrikes?
Well, first let me say that we prefer a peaceful solution. How did you get a peaceful solution in Syria? You ratcheted up the pressures, and when Syria saw that those pressures were raining down on them, they agreed to what was not agreed before.
But part of that pressure was the pressure of airstrikes. So would you threaten unilateral airstrikes to Iran?
I never talk about our military option or anyone else's. The United States says that it has a military option on the table. But equally, and I think no less effective, have been the crippling sanctions that have only been applied since 2012, crippling financial and economic sanctions, especially on the oil sector. And with the drop in oil, those sanctions have become even more effective. That's what got Iran to the table in the first place. And then once they're at the table, why let up on those sanctions? In fact, that's the time to increase the pressure and to get tomorrow what you can't get today.
Okay, thank you very much, Prime Minister.